Hello and welcome to Essentially Sports. Today we have with us one of the most interesting personalities at the World Para Athletics Championships. He is a long jumper, a runner, and so much more. But the most interesting thing about him is his infectious smile that has caught us all. So let's all welcome Ryan Medrano to Essentially Sports. How are you, man?
Thank you. I'm fantastic. That was, I think, one of the best introductions I've ever gotten. That was amazing. Thank you. I try to spread that smile, that joy for the sport, and India has welcomed me with open arms. The LLC has been fantastic, and the fans have been relentless with photos. It's been amazing. Thank you so much.
How has the time been so far overall from an event perspective?
So I've been here since the 5th. The time here kind of just copacetically merges. It's been fantastic in the sense of getting from the track, getting to training, being able to train, sleeping well. The food at the hotel is fantastic. Mm-hmm. The service that the LLC has provided has made things very easy. There's been situations, not here, but in previous competitions that aren't as fluid. So it's been fantastic.
Correct. So a lot of people know only few details about you. So we would like to know a lot more about your journey. So can you tell us how did it start and as a child?
So as a child, I was born 3 months early with mild cerebral palsy. I had fluid on the cerebellum of my brain. This affected my body's ability to communicate neurologically, affecting all of my limbs, but mostly my right side. This allowed me to then later in life learn about the Paralympics. I've always been in sport. I didn't walk till I was 4. I was never supposed to walk.
Yeah.
They said he's going to be in a wheelchair. He's not going to be able to walk. But I went to therapy for 4 years, started walking when I was 4. And then at 24 years old, I was on the TV show Survivor, if you've ever seen it.
Yes.
I met a Paralympian, Noelle Lambert.
Yeah.
She told me about the opportunity of parasport, and immediately I started training. Within 2 years, I went from not running track to training and dedicating ample amount of time to becoming second in the world by the time I hit Paris Paralympics.
Correct.
So I've competed in Paris twice, Paris twice, Colombia, Chile, Santiago, Kobe, Japan, and now in New Delhi, India as well. And
got it.
There's been ups and downs in my my career. When I first started, I wasn't getting medals whatsoever. Santiago was the first time I experienced getting a medal on Pan America. Then Kobe was fantastic. I got second in the world.
Yes.
And then in Paris, I surprised the world going from what was previously 5th in the world, in the 100-meter to second in the world. And then I secured second in the world again. But I need to work on my 400 coming in. Long jump's always been fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
But because of the quality of the pits back home, the sand is too hard to jump in. I only get to practice during competitions. So between Paris Paralympics and now, I have jumped 9 times. So like in total, practice and everything, 9 times. But I do a lot of video analysis, visualization training, and drills on the turf to then translate in my takeoff in long jump.
Got it. Generally in sports, majority of the athletes start early. But your journey started somewhere around 2022 when you, as you mentioned, you met Noel. So what was the decision or what was the thought behind taking this decision that you wanted to compete globally in track and field?
I've always been extremely competitive. Growing up, I was a middle child. I was in a military family. Always fighting for some type of spotlight, wanted to be seen. I wrestled in high school. I did baseball, track, soccer, cross-country skiing, snowboarding, cross-country itself. So I've always been extremely competitive. I always wanted to bring myself to the next level. I never let my disability be a deciding factor on how hard I push, rather than it pushed me to be better. People gave me the ability to walk by being there through my therapy, allowing me to learn to do it, even though it took longer. So I took that blessing, and I wanted to be the best at whatever I did, whether it was working a job, helping a friend, or in track, or in sport. When I got voted off of Survivor, I had this fire to beat somebody at something. I started training immediately. Like the next day, I was carrying weights up the hill in Fiji. I was doing 5.5-minute miles on the treadmill. Like I was determined to do something when I got home. And then Noelle got voted out, and she told me, hey, you can run the Paralympics. I was like, that is what I'm going to do. I got home, I started training immediately. I was working a job, 9-hour job, and then I'd finish that 9-hour job, go to the track, go to the gym. So I had this determination to beat or be the best version of myself. And I was given an outlet to do exactly that. And that's what drove me to be better. And then people hearing my story from Survivor and being inspired or having a sense of hope for their child that's been diagnosed with cerebral palsy or mild cerebral palsy, and getting all of that outreach from fans and individuals that were not only in a place of depression from hearing these things of my child now has a disability, and especially being a first time parent or any parent, because I'm a parent myself, it's like heart wrenching. Like my little one has gonna have a hard time, but by learning about the community of parasport and being there for individuals that ask questions, I was able to kind of reassure individuals that it's different, but that doesn't mean it can't be fruitful. That doesn't mean they can't reach for their dreams and go against the status quo and go above and beyond. And that has bared fruit to many relationships of people checking in and seeing how I'm doing, and I then ask how their child's doing or how they're doing, and their journey to become the best version of themselves, regardless of their disability.
Got it. You made a couple of interesting points in your answer, and I would like to address them one after another. So first things first, you mentioned that your dad was in the military, right? So he was in the army.
Yes.
Yeah. So was there any pressure while growing up or any difficulties that you faced, since you come from a very respected family? And
so growing up with mild cerebral palsy for me, not only like early on, it was a neurological disability. I was very clumsy, fell a lot, always getting in trouble, always getting hurt, in the sense of physically. But cognitively, when I was really young, it did also make my learning more difficult.
Correct.
And being young with a disability or being different made me a target for bullies. So for a long period of time, I was bullied. In the second grade, I lost my 2 front teeth to a bully. It took learning who I was and the light and joy I experienced from brightening other people's day and learning how to adapt from being a military child, moving from place to place, experiencing many different cultures and many different people, to understand how I can best support myself by supporting others. And even as an adult, I'm learning to now shift that perspective of how I was younger and use it to my best ability as an adult to where life has changed. And then I think as a military child, and my dad has 2 Bronze Stars of Valor. He is in Operation Iraqi Freedom. He earned those while there was an ambush in the convoy, and he did amazing feats while in the cover of fire. So to have a parent like that, apparently my mother, who survived a stroke and 2/3 of her brain died when I was about 11 years old. So I was able to help her through that recovery of having a traumatic brain injury and learning how to do things again, because I had already kind of experienced it. At one point, she looked at me and goes, "That's how your brain works?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, but I didn't have a full brain to work with in the first place, so I'm not missing anything." So having the experiences I've had and the environment that I grew up with, it helped to promote this perception of wanting to push just a little bit more, of being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's where a lot of people fall short, is that they would rather live a comfortable life now instead of push themselves out of their comfort zone. Yeah. Life isn't that bad, or the job they have isn't, bad enough for them to change. And I want to challenge them. I want to go, why settle for your bare minimum, right? Why do, it's okay, it could be better. No. Find something you love, something that kind of frightens you, in the sense of going out of your comfort zone to achieve something that maybe you might not be able to do, and see what happens.
Got it.
Commit to it. Really go 110% in the sense of, I'm going to do this. And if you fail, learn from it, get up again. I failed here. I got 4th. I got 5th.
Yeah.
That's 5th was a improvement. I hit a PB in my long jump, but 400, I approached it differently, and it changed my performance, and I'm learning from it. It's created a fire for me to change and continue to build from my experiences. And I want people to be able to go, you know what? I don't want to settle for the bare minimum. I want to live a life that I'm proud of and I enjoy, even if it's difficult.
Got it. You made a very interesting statement. You said that since childhood, you always made sure that you made the day for somebody else. And for someone who has gone through so much, how did you deal with this mentally? And what are the kind of setbacks that you got through your journey? And how did you make sure that the smile that you have, that all of us love, never wore off?
So since I was a baby, I apparently was a smiley baby. I was a very stiff baby, but I was a smiley baby. There's a picture of me in my Halloween outfit. I'm literally peas in a pod, huge smile on it. The same smile you guys know, but as a baby. I just found it is way easier to go through life's trials and tribulations and adversities with a positive outlook. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean be over optimistic, but understand that there could always, in a sense, be worse. I couldn't want it. Now I can. I may have had some shortcomings on my way to my goals. Things might have gotten hard, but without the hard times, you can't necessarily have the good times. Without sadness, you can't necessarily have that overwhelming joy when things that you've worked so hard for go your way. So to be able to try to spread that, because I see the world is difficult. The world is hard. There's a lot of, difficulties in being in the world today, but there's also so many miracles in the fact that we are literally recording on basically a handheld computer. Yeah. We're in a world where 100 years ago, I might not be able to be in the same establishment as somebody that's a different color than me. So you have to be grateful and have a good perspective to be able to be aware of what you can and can't do, but take advantage of it. And that's really where that smile and that excitement for even, like I placed, like I said, fourth, and I came out and they're like, you just look so happy. Why are you so happy? I'm in India right now. I'm halfway across the world. I don't live anywhere near here. But yet, in less than 48 hours, I am in this fantastic hotel around these people that are excited to see me. Why wouldn't you be happy? Like, you get to have this experience, and it's not something that was handed to me. I worked for it. I work for it every single day, every single week. My decisions play out the life that is given to me, the life that I have. So I'm extremely grateful for the places I've been able to be, the people I've been able to meet. And as a human, we have that ability to talk and to communicate and to learn about one another. Yeah. And I love that. Like, that's amazing. Like, I'm going to go home with so many experiences, and I am also going to send people back home with so many smiles. I might never see them again, but I've had people go, remember you from here? Yeah. They're like, you changed my perspective. I'm like, that touches my heart. Yeah. And it's most beautiful thing.
And I would like to add on to that, because every person that we have met so far, and any of them that we ask, do you know Ryan? He's like, oh yeah, the guy who smiles. So I mean, that's really crazy, and I feel that that's one of the best compliments that you can always get, that people love your smile. Yeah. Definitely. So we spoke about your family, Ryan. We spoke about the setbacks that you have, but you mentioned that you are a parent, right? So how do you try to, take forward the learnings that you have gotten in the past couple of years or throughout your life to the next generation that you're trying to build with yourself?
So with the next generation, whether it's my child or the youth of today, especially in a world where information is so readily at your fingertips, and the satisfaction of being determined, being consistent is kind of stripped away from you. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok gives you that quick satisfaction. So it deteriorates the fact that we can work for things greater than what we even imagine. So my next step is to appreciate, like I said before, what we have and how far we've come as a human race, but also take in the fact that you are one of one. There's nobody like you. Yeah. There's nobody like me. There's nobody like you out there. And you have things that you love, that you're scared of, that you cherish. Take those things that make you you, and create a world around you, a community of people that trust you, that understand you. And it doesn't have to be big. I have necessarily 5 or 4 friends back home. And create that world where you can flourish as you. You don't have to put a mask on. You don't have to be a different person. And be happy and unapologetic. If you want to sing in the car, sing in the car. If you want to, dance at work, dance at work. As long as you're not hurting anybody, be yourself, be happy. But also push yourself to be
Uncomfortable.
and be uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because comfortability is dangerous. It leads you to live a life that you might grow to regret. I'd rather have failure and learn from it and fall hard on my face and be like, oh, that sucked, than finish, look back and go, I could have done so much more.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the sport now. You started your journey in 2022, but right after at the Parapan Games, you got medals. In 2024 at the Paralympics, you again back to silvers. So how was the feeling, back-to-back years, back-to-back medals? There was nothing that was stopping you.
So I'm very new to the sport.
Yeah.
So I went from a wrestler. I used to wrestle. I played Third and State in Texas. And it'd been about 9 years since I'd done track. I did a little bit of track in high school. So to be able to come out and go from placing, 6th, 7th, 5th in Paris the first time to 2 golds back-to-back and Parapan. And I was able to look at that with a perspective of, I know everybody's not here, but these golds still feel great. like Jaden, the world championship champion, wasn't there, but I took it and I used that opportunity to push myself, and I hit PRs there as well. So to be able to go around the world, do my absolute best, because I train by myself in El Paso. I don't have a team I'm training with.
Yes.
I videotape my training and I send it to my coach. So to be able to push myself psychologically and quite frankly to my physical limits as frequently as I do, and be rewarded and have that satisfaction. Like Paris was the best. Paris was absolute. You finish the race. I'm looking up at the board. I don't know if I got second. 300ths of a second. Hundredths of a second. I look up. Boom. My name's second. Like that. There's a wave of goosebumps. Don't even describe it. It's just this chilling energy that you're like, I did it. Regardless of the setbacks I've had, the injuries that I went through, the psychological, determination you need in those days where you just don't want to get up out of bed at all because you're just so tired and sore, but yet you do. It's that satisfaction, that validation that this was what I should be doing and I can do even more. So it's fantastic. And then here was a bit different. I was again, I approached the 400 differently. I got about 4th in there, but it motivates me to go, okay, now I need to learn this race, because previously I was just pushing with power, pushing with determination. I want to learn it to the point where I technically am like, I'm going to run this race like this. I'm going to hit this time throughout my seasons so that I become my competitors fear me when I step on it. Like, I want them to see the smile and be like, that's a great guy, but I don't want to race him. That's like, he is fast. This is going to be hard. But there's a ways to go, but that's exciting. I never want to stop getting better.
Yeah. The line that you mentioned that, I see this guy, he's smiling, but I don't want to race him. That's some sort of what Noah Lyles also has as his personality. So do you think you have a similar mindset as him?
I think all athletes at this level need a similar mindset, whether it is needing an extrinsic or intrinsic, so an outside motivation or an inside motivation. I think we all have that determination to push ourselves out of the norm, because a lot of people see this and like, that's not for me, right? Like, I can do great things, but that's insane. But to us, we wouldn't want anything else, right? So I think we all have a respect for each other, but at the same sense, we're looking out for us, right? So when I'm in the car, I'm fine, but that's what I need. Some people need complete silence. Don't look at me, and sometimes that is what I need, depending on the day. I'm a different person every day. We wake up, make decisions that change who we are fundamentally every single day. So I think Noah Lyles, I can't speak to of what he does. Fantastic individual, fantastic speed, phenomenal. But I think as athletes, we have this drive in us that wants us to be the best. Nobody comes on the track thinking, "Oh, I'm going to lose." But even if you don't know if you're going to win, you don't think that. You go, "I'm going to smash this, and people are going to be behind me."
Let's get to a sensitive yet very important topic in the world of para athletes and Paralympics. A lot of para athletes who have cerebral palsy keep saying that they are not looked as para athletes. They are always accused that hey, you are not disabled, right? So, what do you feel about that? And were there any instances where you also went through the same thing?
So I'm going to first approach it with my own experiences. I've had photographers, I've had individuals go, "You don't look disabled." And I'm like, "But you don't understand, even just today, the amount of pain I've had through this right leg from competing at 200-meter sprints, 400-meter sprints, and then that very next day doing long jump taken off of this leg. I woke up several times tonight with just a burning sensation going from the ankle all the way up into my hip. When I'm extremely tired, I walk, I hobble, and people are like, "You walk like a penguin." I'm like, I'm not trying to compensate. What you see is a cultivation of every single day, every experience we've had as athletes, as individuals that don't want to be seen as less because we have a disability.
Got it.
So we learn to compensate. We learn to look like everybody else because it makes you not be stared at as much or bullied when you're a child. So I think it's a learning moment for everybody to understand, not just with cerebral palsy, but like my mom. She has a stroke, 2/3 of her brain is gone. It's hard for her to get in and out of the car. And I'll have older people walk up to her and ask, "Why you parked in a handicap spot?" And it almost brings her to tears because she almost lost her life. She had to learn how to live her life and struggles every single day with what she has, but flourishes at the same time. And somebody has the audacity to ask that question. And instead of asking in a curious manner, and not that it's their business, she still also tries to take it as a time to teach, a teachable moment of myself when I get a photographer asking, I see this mixed para race. What's wrong with you? Right? And well, sir, this is my disability. And not all disabilities are seen. A lot of them aren't seen. There's people all over the world today. Me, Nick Mayhew, Jaden Blackwell. When you look at us, unless you know what you're looking for, you really don't see it because we mask it so well. But that doesn't mean we don't go through our own challenges. When I train too hard, I sometimes lose my vision and get a migraine for 2, 3, 4 days. My hamstrings will lock up, and I have to learn how to manage that each and every day. So in the sense of people thinking, you're a T38 athlete. I'm a very able-bodied athlete. I'm blessed to have what I have. But at the same sense, be more open-minded to hear people's stories. We're here for a reason. We're not put here just because. There's a certain standard of classification, whether or not you think it's right or wrong, and how you are classified. Regardless, there is a system in place to help make sure it's not too much of for the point that you at least have a disability in retrospect of what you're doing. So there's also the topic of what people think of classification. I personally think in T38 or the cerebral palsy classification group, it is difficult to have a precise metric on how to measure things because we are so different in each and every person, each and every diagnosis. But I do not think it should be performance-based. I think it should be disability-based from that because there are people that can have phenomenal, like Jaden Blackwell, just broke the world record again. But I know him as a person. I know he's disabled, but you have some people that look and go, what's wrong with it, right? But it doesnhave matter. We know as athletes that we have our disability. We know who we are. We know what we're doing. But if there's any changes we need to have done in classification to make people understand or to increase that awareness of invisible disability, that's something we need to work on every day as a collective group across the world. Because if you know here, but you don't know here, what's the point? I want it to be seen where I say I'm in the Paralympics and somebody 9 out of 10 times is go, "Oh, the Olympics? That's so cool." Like, no. And I have to explain it out. I'm surprised when somebody goes, "Oh, yeah, I know the Paralympics. I have a friend that's an amputee." Blah, blah. I'm like, wow, that's fantastic. Like, I love that. And I am personally myself I'm trying to work with the El Paso Children's Hospital, which is a hospital in El Paso for cancer patients and children that have disability or have diseases and are going through treatment. And I'm going to try to work with them to help increase that broadening of the knowledge that everybody, that comes through. Maybe they need an amputated limb, or maybe they have cerebral palsy because they have a brain like that. They're told, hey, there's an opportunity for you. And if you want to, there's a community, even if you don't want to run at the highest level of the world, that understands what you're going through to an extent so that you're not alone. So
That's insane. Another topic that is a talk of the town, I would say, that is the USADA testing that a lot of athletes have spoken about, that right after the meet, like right after their event, they are directly taken out for a test, or the doping, I would say, officials just show up at your house without any notice. So are there any troubles or anything that you guys go through, or are you guys okay with the kind of setting that is there?
So me personally, I understand the perspective and why they approach it that way.
Yeah.
I think the way we submit where we're at could be done differently. I think it should be easier. Sometimes I have trouble doing athlete direct and putting in where I'm here and there and here. But there is checks and balances to make sure there isn't any type of. USADA does a good job of making sure we're not doping, have anything in our body that we're not supposed to. As an athlete, you are responsible for what you put in your body. We're trying to make sure it's a clean sport. Everybody has a fair chance of competing against each other. I can't say that's the same thing around the world. USADA does a fantastic job. But I wish you can pick which event. Like once you're at an event, like once I get in New Delhi, India, there's no way that I can cycle off steroids if I had already taken steroids, or if I can cycle off anything. So I wish you can put the preferred event they can grab you from. So if you grab me after 100, I'm fantastic. You grab me after a long jump, lovely. Grab me after a 400, I am dying. Please do not talk to me. Like I have to compose myself to take pictures and do talk. And sometimes it takes me 15, 20 minutes. It used to take me 15, 20 minutes. I had WADA grab me after trials for Paris. And I said, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to stand here with me because I just ran the hardest 400 I've ever ran. I hit a PR. And if I stop moving now, my hamstrings are going to lock up and I'm going to be in immense pain. So about 30, 45 minutes for me to be able to properly walk and sit down and be able to do this. But it makes sense with having this not scheduled. You're not able to try to cheat the system. You have to do certain things because people have cheated in the past. So sadly, that has ruined the sense of honor system. You can't just be like, yeah, no, I'm not taking steroids. No, we have to test you because some people do. And sometimes it's not on purpose. Like one time there was an athlete that got banned because he was taking pre-workout from Walmart. Sadly, the creator of that pre-workout was putting a component in it that was similar to methamphetamines to make it addictive. And that is, that is against the rule. So you are responsible for what you put in your body. I make sure that it has the NFS standard. I make sure if I'm eating something, it's either whole foods in the sense of chicken, green beans, potatoes, or it is third-party tested, so I don't have to worry and have that psychological doubt that, I got to do a P test right now, and the creatine I took seemed kind of sketchy. So, it's consistency and understanding the system's created in a way to make it fair for you to race.
Couple of athletes, especially Nick, even told us that in back home in the US, as Paralympians or as para-athletes, you guys don't get a lot of audience. So how does this affect you? And, when you have a full crowd, how does it feel? Or when you have an empty stand, how does it affect your performance?
So I was just talking with Wallace Spearman and the president of the board of USATF just a couple days ago for a couple hours. We're really brainstorming because we are U.S. para track and field,
yes.
U.S. track and field are kind of merging. And we were trying to formulate some type of brainstorm during our off season. How are we going to increase that awareness of parasport? How are we going to increase the caliber of performance we're going to be able to do against our competitors, whether it's in-state? Luckily for me, Jaden Blackwell, world champion, world record holder, he is in my country. But there's people like Colombia and Greece that just ran phenomenally. I would have to travel outside of the States to be able to compete against them, which is fine. But I think a collaboration with other countries, track meets including or being open to other countries coming in, such as our nationals, proper communication and proper broadcasting of our events, reducing ticket prices at things like nationals last year or nationals this year to go to Oregon. It was a lot for people to come in. We would. Jared Wallace was telling me he was talking to some of the people in the community in Oregon when eating with his family, and they were like, "Yeah, we would love to come watch every session, but it costs $300 for our whole family to come." So I think taking little baby steps, adjusting things, seeing how that point of interest increases or reduces revenue, so that then we can then reinvest into either the athletes or even into the staff itself, because the staff has a quick turnover rate in the sense of they get the experience and they leave, which is fine. That's, I'm not wanting anybody to stay where they're at and not increase their quality of living. But if we were able to have that incentive for athletes to just be able to train as an athlete, or people to stay in the USATF and be passionate about it, about the athletes, about the system, about what we do, so that we have that drive behind us as athletes and staff to then create that atmosphere for our audience, for the general community to go, hey, did you hear Paris coming to town? We got to go. We got to figure it out, and proper, advertisement, all those things go into play. And I think doing that properly makes us as athletes. Let's say you do proper advertisement. You really put us out there leading up to our competition. We're going to feel psyched. Kid you not. I know going to Oregon, I was like, wow.
That's like the track town of USA.
Yeah, track town in USA. It was packed. I know competing in Paris, the crowd reverberated in my chest, and it just made me feel electric. And that versus having an empty stand, and it happens. I understand not everybody can come, but if we make it an event and make it to the point where, hey, we know it's in town, let's stop by, let's see what they're doing. We know this event, we know this person, we know these big names are coming out. Let's go see this. Let's go do this. It's going to increase that awareness. It's going to increase social media performance. You got to attack it from every angle. And that will then push us as athletes to create the spectacle that's going to go, wow, that was amazing. I'm coming back next year. So,
and I would like to conclude on the note that you just said. This conversation was really, really amazing. Thank you so much for talking to us, and we wish you the very luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I had a fantastic time talking with you. I had fantastic questions. And I appreciate the ability to express myself, to help inform. If anybody has any questions, of course, you can reach out to me.
And we'll always make sure that you guys get the attention and the platform that you deserve.
Thank you.
Because you guys are crazy.
A little bit.